Hey, thanks for watching Pocket Theology. We have a guest today, Paul Parisian from Mission Haiti. Super excited to have him here today. A couple things before we get going. One, really love it if you enjoy what we're doing on Pocket Theology. Like, subscribe, share, do all the things. But we'd really love to hear your comments. And man, it's great to have you here. We've already kind of had conversation. Paul just got to meet Kyle. We did lunch with some of us a little bit earlier. Dude, great to have you here, brother.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Kyle,
fun.
Good to have you back.
Okay, so now you got to go back and do your whole intro thing again of like, how did you guys meet?
Oh, yeah. How we met.
Thanks, Jaden. Apparently, he didn't like our 15 minutes of stupid random at the front end.
But great stories. So Paul and I met at a Res Gen conference. It's a men's conference in South Dakota 2 weeks ago. That's a great story. I just told it, but I'm going to tell it again. We were seated at the same table for a Friday night dinner with John Maxwell, and which was absolutely wonderful. But we connected and instantly kind of made some connections talking. And a mutual friend of ours, Bill Goodwin, who will be on the podcast. Josh worked for Bill many years ago. Yeah. I've known Bill for many years. So we're talking, and Bill's sitting right here. By the way, who's invited me to the conference and this dinner, which it's a pay for dinner. Like you had to pay for the plate.
Which I don't mean to flex, but he invited me first. So anyway.
Yeah, you do that.
I turned him down.
That's fine.
I don't even know what the conference is about.
It's a men's conference.
Right, so like we're flexing about stuff like not everyone knows about.
Yes, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
It's like small town football players thinking they're all that when their team is 8 people.
Yeah.
I'm a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
You're the only quarterback.
Right.
Anyway, keep going.
So we were talking, and literally after about 10 minutes, I'm like, bro, I'd love to have you on the podcast. And Bill looks right at me and he goes, "Are you serious?" I go, "What?" And he goes, "Bro, I've known you for how many years and you've never invited me on the podcast, but you'll invite a guy you've known for 10 minutes on the podcast." And I'm like, "Yep." And then the guy, did you hear me ask the guy sitting next to Bill, who I also just met, a guy named Eric Meck. I'm like, "Hey, Eric, want to be on the podcast?"
Oh, yeah. Before you asked Bill.
Before I asked Bill.
That was so good. It was so good.
It was a beautiful moment. But we actually connected, and I'm like, man, we're bringing some guests on, and I'm like, wonderful to have you on. So again, welcome. Great to have you here, Paul. We've already kind of been laughing a little bit about some other things. Man, one, I'd love to hear just a little bit about your story. You're from Haiti originally. And then we actually got into some really good conversation because, again, Pocket Theology, it's an open conversation. It's not just a long-form interview.
Yeah.
But love for you to share a little bit about yourself, Mission Haiti, how long you've been in the States, family, that kind of stuff. And you might want to get closer to the mic. There we go.
Yep. Stop me at any time. But yeah, Paul Parisian, and I've been serving with Mission Haiti since 2014. I was born and raised in Haiti.
Where in Haiti?
Mole St. Nicholas, Oman. It is rumored to be one of the first places that Christopher Columbus visited on his first voyage.
So that's your claim to fame.
Yes.
You know
Christopher Columbus probably visited my town.
Really? You know what Clear Lake's claim to fame is?
What?
It's where Buddy Holly died.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're famous.
Almost the same.
Yeah, we are.
Almost the same thing.
Yeah.
And Richie Valens and the Big Bopper.
Yes,
There's
but
all-
Buddy Holly, they call it Buddy Holly Days, not Buddy Holly's Richie Valens.
And, yeah.
Right, but like I don't know.
It's all
that excludes the other guys
Yeah.
when we
That
do
died.
that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Christopher
they matter.
Columbus landed there.
Columbus landed there. Yeah. So yeah, I lived in Haiti since I was 10 years old.
Okay.
My 3 brothers and my mom joined my dad, who already was living in the States since I was 2.
Okay.
So 96.
And is your dad Haitian then as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So in 96, we all joined him and moved to South Florida. And then my sister was born. So I have 3 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay.
And went to school, went to Florida State University to be a teacher. And I kind of just delved right in. At that time, FSU was the #1 party school. And that's the reason.
Florida State University?
Yeah. It was
Not the
#1.
home of Tim Tebow.
No, UF. No. And Tim Tebow was at UF while I was at Florida State.
Okay.
And we sucked at football. But yeah, partied, and I graduated, and I moved back down to West Palm Beach and worked at Red Lobster. And then I met this gal from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And we instantly started dating. So I was already working there at Red Lobster when she came in, and she transferred from the Red Lobster in Sioux Falls.
Can I ask a question? This is a
of
very
course.
serious question.
Yeah.
Do you know the secret to their Cheddar Bay biscuits? Because their biscuits are bomb.
I do, but I signed
An
my
NDA?
life. Yes,
You
yes. I
can't-
cannot tell you.
I love their biscuits.
Yeah, I cannot tell you. But like when we stop
I
taping,
can't tell
then
if
I'll
you're
tell you.
joking or being for real. Are you
I
playing?
have no clue, man.
Oh my god! I'm like, wait, there's like,
There's
I'm
an
like,
NDA for the biscuits?
no, I just went down to, I went down to Dollar General and bought a little box. You know, like I could make them at home. I don't know. There's a big secret.
So what years was this? What years was this?
This was 2009.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it was in 09. But then I met my wife in 2010.
Okay.
Is when so she transferred down. First time I meet her, and she said, "Hey, my name is Bethany."
Okay, who made the first move?
Well, she introduced herself, but it'll be very clear who made the first move.
Okay.
After I'm done telling this story, she's like, "Hey, my name is Bethany. I'm a transfer from Sioux Falls, South Dakota." And I said, "South Dakota? How many black people are there?"
Hey,
It
okay.
probably was not, but then she's like 3. I was like, okay, all right, it's pretty good. A little nice, and banter back and forth, and she said, "My name is Bethany," but her name tag said Bethel. I said, "Well, you said your name is Bethany. Your name tag says Bethel. What can I call you?" She said, "You can call me whatever you want." And then I said, "Can I call you tonight?"
Dude, okay, that's come on.
Well, she was like, "Yeah, I gotta stay away from that punk." And I walked away, and someone fed me that line though.
That's
So Matt, and so I was kind of away from the church, and the earthquake in 2010 happened.
Yeah.
About 10 days prior, and that is what God used to ransom my soul and to get me back in the faith. So we started taking.
Were you there for the earthquake?
I was in. So
you were in Florida at that point, okay.
Yeah. But I had my cousin that I grew up with that died, and her twins. So I was super angry at God, cursing him, and he essentially just slapped me and said, "Hey, I gave you so many opportunities, and you've done nothing to them. So what the heck are you doing, right?" So
Wow.
yeah. So that is truly what God used to get me back on my faith walk and my faith journey. So yeah.
So were you raised in church and then just kind of
was.
walked away?
Yeah. I was raised Baptist.
Okay. And is
yeah.
Baptist, is that a pretty predominant denomination in Haiti?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started taking people to church. We called it Mission Lab. So I've been serving ministry with my wife for quite some time. We got married. I was a teacher, social studies, middle school teacher. And we moved to Haiti in 2014, just she and I, to be with this mission organization called Mission Haiti.
Yep.
That was already functioning down there. And I then became the director in 2018. And we and our 3 kids lived there up until 2021. And we moved here then, and now we go back and forth. So still my full-time job. We go back and forth to Haiti.
And we talked about this before. How often are you back in Haiti?
About 10 times a year.
So about every month.
Yeah.
And you go for how long typically?
Usually about a week, or we try to have another team come down when we're there, and it could be 2 weeks.
Okay.
But in the summer, my wife and I and our 3 kids are there for about a month and a half.
Now, one of the things, and I thought this would be a really fun conversation to kind of get into, but you live in South Dakota, bro.
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Like that's a pretty long distance from Haiti.
It is.
Like I would assume, like I would think you would have the base would be like in Florida.
Yeah.
So what's it like being in South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, when obviously, I mean, how long is the flight from South Dakota to Haiti?
We have to get to Miami first.
Yeah.
So and then from Miami, it's only an hour and a half.
It's like a puddle jumper, right? It's
Yeah.
not a big plane typically.
It used to be not anymore.
Okay.
It is like a 30-seater now that we take. But we usually takes us about a day and a half just to get to Haiti total. Travel time.
Okay.
Yeah. A little far away. A little far away.
So, Mission Haiti, tell us a little bit about what Mission Haiti is, and then we'll just get into our conversation. But I want people to get to know you. And
Sure.
You actually shared some of this stuff when we were at dinner, which is, I'm like, dude, I'd love for our people to hear your story. And then I think conversation-wise, we already had a great conversation at lunch. But tell us a little bit about what Mission Haiti does.
Yep.
And then I am curious, how did it end up being based in South Dakota of all places?
Yeah.
Like, as you said, now you're the fourth black person there.
Yeah. We're growing. it's a growing.
25% growth.
25% growth.
25% growth.
So Mission Haiti, our motto is love Jesus, love others, and make disciples. And we do that by growing and coming alongside current and future leaders for the cause of Christ. Our main focus is education. So we help about 3,000 kids go to school.
Oh, wow.
We run and operate 9 schools. We have a medical clinic that sees about 12,000 patients on a yearly basis. We have all of our staff is Haitian, so we have 5 nurses and lab. We have 2 doctors that are there, and we have a semi-retirement home, and we have 16 elders that are there right now. Wow. We have a very small orphanage that we're phasing out, and we build homes. So we've built hundreds of homes in the past couple of years.
Wow.
And we do evangelism. So that is mainly what we do in the southwest part of Haiti. So
Okay, so I was out there in 2018,
yeah,
19,
yeah.
18 would have been 18, and
Not in our area.
no, about
Not
30
in
minutes.
our
You said it was
places.
about 30 minutes
Correct.
away, right?
Yeah.
So we've supported, and I don't know if we still do. I don't think we do anymore because the family who did it. But we had a dental clinic out there, and we worked with an orphanage as well.
Go serve.
Yep, Go Serve. And then when I went out, one, I got to tell you, like, and they prepared me for it. You got to realize that, like, a lot of these kids are going to ask you to take them home with you
yeah.
because they're in orphanages. And, like, just know you're going to find it really hard to say no. And it really is. Like, I have pictures on my phone. There are a few kids that literally, I'm like, if I could take you home with me right now, I would. Just as a dad. And not even like, oh, cute kids. Like, no, legitimately as a father going, I want so deeply.
Yeah.
And adoption is actually something that's near to my heart. So we were there, but the funny thing, well, not funny. Actually, it's not funny at all. But when I found out how close we were, when I showed you where the city was, you're like, oh, that's like 30 minutes from where our base is. There were a couple things that I didn't know, and I don't know if this is still true, and maybe you know this statistic or maybe you don't, but like one of the leading causes of suicide and suffering in Haiti is dental care.
No kidding. Really?
Yeah, because there's not a lot of dentists.
Yeah.
Pain, and you can't eat.
Yeah.
And so the dental clinic, the Biebers, who used to be at Zion and now go to another church locally, and my wife still works at their dentist office just across the street from Zion, actually. That was the birthing behind it, was my understanding, was like, it is legitimately an area where there's just like one dentist for every like million people. It's some crazy, ridiculous thing. And we went up into the mountains, and literally they'd come out, and most of their job was just extracting. I got to extract a tooth, by the way.
He really did.
Yep. And he literally said, I'm going to give you an easy tooth to extract because the hard one's like, it's really hard. Literally, I went like this. Boop. Like it was barely there, but I'm like, I'm a dentist.
He probably already did it. And be like, hey, go ahead and.
But like,
sure, you're going.
Hermie wants to be a dentist. Sorry, that's all I could. Hi. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Sorry, I'm done. That's all I wanted to say.
So, one, I love the heart of what you're doing. I'd love to hear a little bit about, like, as far as the work that you're doing in South Dakota, and then having to travel there. One, I'd love to talk through some cultural differences, particularly in the church. But I mean, it'd be so easy for you to go, dude, I'm away from Haiti. I just want to be in the U.S. So what's kind of kept your heart tied to Haiti?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insanely lucky to do what I do. I grew up most of my life, before I left Haiti, I grew up in a 2-room house, and it's the same homes that you see on the TV. It's like, wow, someone lives there. It was me and my 3 brothers all sharing a bed. That is what we did for the first 9-10 years of my life. There were days that we went hungry, where we didn't have anything to eat. And because Dad was in the States, he was working, but money didn't get it on time, or we just didn't have the means. So I know what hunger is. I know what it is for my mom to go and say, hey, can I borrow some money? And for people to say no. I know how it is to not be able to get an education from friends that we had. So for me now to be able to do this, where blessed enough to know the pain, but then to provide our folks, our leaders in Haiti with the opportunity to be doctors or to be teachers or to be caretakers. And I just get to tell their stories, like there's not a better job for me, like doesn't matter how much it pays, I cannot see myself doing something else because of this opportunity that God has given me. So like I dislike airplanes. Like I do not flying at all. Like that is one of my biggest fears. But I do it at least 10 times a year round trip. And the reason being is because I truly believe that God has given me this calling or this opportunity to do his work in this manner. So
now
I actually have a random question,
please.
if you don't mind me asking.
Please.
So one of my passions is working with Native American people. Just God's put this kind of heart in me for First Nations people here in the U.S. And I've seen so much more fruit by equipping and developing Native leaders than me as a white guy just kind of coming in and, hey, I'm just here. This is what I got. It just seems like there's a lot more lasting fruit by raising up local people. And I would even say, like, even in a white Caucasian context, the more that you can kind of pour into your community and are like building relationships that way and just kind of coming from that type of tribe, I just find it like more fruitful. And so Captain Obvious here, bro, you're Haitian and you have a ministry to Haitians. Do you find that is that true there as well? Like you actually, it gives you more leverage and credence because you're actually Haitian because you grew up in the culture, or do you think would it be easier being a white person coming in? I just
or an American.
Whatever. Yeah.
No.
You know what I'm asking?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's a great question, and specifically for me, truly, what I have found is that for the most part, it is really good, especially for Mission Haiti, because there's no language barrier and there is no culture barrier to me and the people that we serve. I can swift through all of the misunderstanding or all of the cultural differences. But what I have found is specifically even for our leaders in Haiti, I will be Paul the Haitian when it's advantageous to them, and I will be Paul the American when it's advantageous and disadvantageous, so it really has worked both for and against me, depending on what it is. Sure. But I think maybe another thing is that one of my goals is that if I'm hit by a bus tomorrow, Mission Haiti will not suffer. They'll just plug someone right back in to do what I do. And this is to say that our main focus is our leaders in Haiti. Yeah. Even for me as a Haitian American guy, I am blessed that, when things get rough and Haiti, and we can get into that. That's one of the reasons why we moved back and at the end of 21, I can leave, right? So Mission Haiti is our leaders that are there in Haiti, in their community. They are better people. They are better believers than I am. I'm just lucky to be in a position where I can be that in between between supporters here in the work that they want to do.
Cool. Yeah. I love that.
So one of the things that caught me, and we hear about it because, like I was surprised at how prevalent voodoo actually is in Haiti. Being there, driving by and like, nope, that's a voodoo church. And that's called syncretism. So those who aren't familiar with the term, syncretism is the idea of when you take a bunch of things and you mix them together. So Christianity and you mix it with voodoo magic, or you mix it with Buddhism, that's syncretism. And it was a problem that we see throughout the Old Testament where God's people were constantly syncretizing, adopting the other beliefs and systems of other gods. And God's like, nope, it's not the thing. I was surprised. I knew about it. I even I tried to mentally prepare myself for it, and realizing how much it is part of the culture there. Do you find that in particularly in the work, one, I'd love to hear as a first, you're Haitian. How, as the white American coming in going, this is weird to me. I'd love to hear your experience with that, because it is, we don't have voodoo churches in our area that are just part of the culture. Has that, the spiritual warfare aspect of that, how real is that? Is that just made up in my head? Is it not as prevalent as this white guy from the Midwest who's been here for so long? It's like, this is a big problem. You're like, it's not that big of a deal, Jason. Like, we're dealing with it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, because that was something I was not prepared for, of just how much that was part of it. Now, I think we have our own syncretism where we mix all kinds of things in. Sometimes it's politics. Sometimes we do all kinds of weird, twisted things. But I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. And one, is it blown out of proportion for us who are just not familiar with it? Or is there like, no, that's a real thing and part of your mission is in that? And we've not talked about this. So you might go, Jason, none of that's real. You might go, dude, it's a bigger thing. I'm curious.
Yeah. I think it's good to know that I'm naturally a doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
So I do like to see with my own eyes, and that just might be me as well. So even though I'm this Asian guy, this is through the lens of who I am, and I believe God has made me. But I for sure experienced some of that when I was younger. When I was living in Haiti, I was sick for a while, and I was kind of hallucinating where I could see someone walking by and directly speaking to me from like 30 feet away, where I wanted to jump out of our bedroom window, which was maybe 7 feet high, but for a little boy, it seemed high, right? Yeah. So my mother was praying for me so that I could be healed, called in a pastor, and they prayed over me, and then I was healed, and I have never been to the hospital ever since, right? Wow. But that is from a 7-8-year-old kid's mind. And what have I experienced for the time that I have been back now as an adult? Very little. Okay. But I know that it is true that there are a lot of people that does practice voodoo.
And voodoo is a mixture primarily of Catholicism and black magic, correct?
Yeah. Worshiping evil spirits, right? Okay. So, I'm a little, there are different ways that I think about it. One thing I know to be true is there are a lot of people, especially in the mountainous areas where we serve, who will use all of their finances, all of their time, so that they can go to a voodoo priest. And this voodoo priest will tell them, this is what you need to do in order for this person to stop persecuting you, or for you to get that job, or for your child to not be sick anymore. Sometimes they'll have them do potions or take medicines. They'll do things with a voodoo doll, or they'll actually give real, possibly poison for them to poison other people. Wow. So it is both real.
So it is physical, as prevalent as I saw it. Like when I was there, I was surprised at how much it felt like it was part of the culture.
Yeah. So so there's another part of it where part of me feels as if, and I think coming in, when I moved back to Haiti in 2014, I believe that I fell into that a little bit, where I believe that there has been a huge portion of mission organizations here from the States that have also played into that as well.
Okay, and that was my curiosity, is how much of this is we got to play into that. Yeah,
I do believe that we, as mission organizations, especially in the early 2000s, I believe that maybe did we play into it too much. Okay. Because on the other side, what I've seen is believers in Haiti, pastors, they are so fearful of the power of voodoo. Okay. Whether it's spiritual, whether it's physical, they are so scared of the power of voodoo where sometimes they will not eat with one another, because they're scared that this other person, this possibly even other pastor, might do something to them. Wow. So I believe that a lot of believers in Haiti, most of them, I will for sure say this, and this is what I tell to our other local pastors as well, you guys have given too much power to voodoo.
Yeah.
So much power that it is keeping you from actually preaching the word of God and even being believers. So like that's where I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like back and forth with it because like I know it is to be real, it is, but I think at the same time, we as Haitians have put too much power to it, and I believe that even some Christians here in the States, especially when you're visiting, might have also put too much weight to it. Where if I die tomorrow, it's not because of voodoo, it's because Jesus said, hey, it's my time to go.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people, especially my mom, would be like, dang, that was voodoo. And my mom is a believer.
And it reminds me of the quote. It's a very famous quote from C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity. Is it Mere Christianity or Screwtape Letters? There are two lies that the believer believes. One is to give the devil too much power, and the other is to not give him enough. Screwtape Letters. Thank you. And essentially, like, no, if all you do is everything's the devil, then the devil wins. If nothing's the devil wins. Yeah. And I think what caught me, and again, because we don't live in a culture, we don't think spiritually as Americans. That's true. Doesn't mean we're not spiritual. It's just, I think our spirituality doesn't go in those realms as naturally. I think it's getting there more. I think we're seeing more spiritual curiosity where kids are playing with, toying with New Age, that kind of stuff. But as it being part of the culture, like, I mean, enmeshed in the culture, that's what really caught me off guard. Is it like, no, it was enmeshed.
And really, like, your guys' context growing up in Haiti, it's probably more in touch with, like, what Paul walked through in the book of Acts, or, like, there was all of that kind of demonic, like weird stuff. And so Paul had to wrestle with that same tension, too, of just like, okay, well, yep, it's there, but the same spirit that raised Christ from the dead is in me.
And we don't need to be afraid.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So then the other question that I had, and I'd love to hear an update on it. We didn't get a chance. You alluded to it a little bit. There was a long time in there where they basically like no one should be coming to Haiti. Gangs were running rampant.
Yeah.
There was like the economy crashed, all kinds of crazy stuff. So like the last time I went with Lisa's dental office where she works, I think that was the last time they went, because after that things kind of went sideways and gangs were kind of everywhere. You alluded to it in our conversation at dinner, but it seems like things are opening up a little bit. And then I'd love for you to share, like, where's the hope, man? And all the things that are going on, like, what are the good things that are happening? Because it's so easy to fixate on what's wrong instead of celebrating where God is moving. So I'd love to hear that. And then I want to get into our conversation that we started to at lunch on church and culture and how different American church is from Haiti church, and seeing the context differences and how that can be a really eye-opening thing for us. But I'd love to hear an update. How are things, the gangs, like that was a legit thing. Like, it's pretty bad.
100%. And I'm going to try not to spend too much time on this, but the reason why me and my wife and our 3 kids, and we had about 7 or 8 other missionaries that lived with us. We have a specific school within our 9 schools that we had North American teachers teach alongside Haitian teachers. They divided the time, so we had a lot of foreigners that were there. And again, it is not my hometown where Mission Haiti is. It is not where Christopher Columbus maybe landed. You know, it is like from Seattle to Florida, right? And 2 totally different towns in Haiti, but we became families, and our neighbors, we lived with them since 2014. So we live alongside them. But as gangs started to gain control of Port-au-Prince, the capital city, which is about like 6 hours away from us, which is essentially as far as from Seattle to Port-au-Prince, because it's so difficult to move about in Haiti, because there was so much control from gangs over there. That same gang mentality started to disperse all over Haiti, where you always have your bad actors. In any town, you have your bad actors, and it's the same for Haiti, where those same 3-4 guys that used to ask me for money back in 2018, and I would say, no, I don't have any money for you, they would just leave me alone, right? But then those guys came to not ask anymore. They were demanding money. You have to give me this amount of money. If not, this is what is going to happen to you, because that gang mentality was truly taking over.
And there was no accountability because the police force
Zero.
was run over.
Zero.
Yeah.
You know, and this is true in fact. Some of the biggest organizations that they had a specific spot in their budget for the gangs. They were paying the gangs in Haiti just so that they could continue to function up until they couldn't anymore and had to leave Port-au-Prince. So this became a thing. It's like, hey, you know what? If so-and-so organization is paying, why are you not paying? Paul from Mission Haiti. Is it because you think because you're Haitian, we're not going to do anything to you? Or is it because you think you're American, we're not going to do anything to you, right? So we had to leave because in about a week and a half time span, people started throwing rocks and bottles in our area, where my kids' lives were in danger, my wife's lives, and all the other missionaries. Oldest one was 5. So my kids were fairly young. So we left because it was getting too much. I either had to hire some other guys to take care of those guys, or I would have taken care of them myself, or I had to leave. So we
Those
left.
were the options. Yeah.
Those were the options,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
We left. We closed down the mission, and then other people around our organization were ready to kill those guys because we stopped everything. We stopped our medical clinics. We stopped our schools, all the services. We stopped all of them because this had been a conversation for months leading up to it. Say, hey, we cannot function anymore under this type of duress.
Wow.
So I guess because we're good Christians, we didn't want those guys to die. So we opened things back up, right? Joking, but not joking. We opened everything back up where I felt that it was safe enough for me to visit. But it was me that went back to Haiti in 2022, right?
Okay. So how long a gap is there? You left when again?
I left around October of 21. Okay. And the first time that I was back was, I believe, in June of 2022.
Okay. So, wow.
And I lived there for 8 straight years. So to answer your question, we kept on coming back and forth. And then finally, my wife and kids came in the summer of 23. We didn't get to go in 24. And then just this past summer, we went as well, and we've brought other people.
Okay.
So Haiti is getting better. It has gotten better. When I'm here in the States, I hear of all the bad things, and sometimes I don't even want to go. But then when I get on that airplane and I see a little 7-year-old Caucasian girl on an airplane going to Haiti, it's like, this Haitian guy can go to Haiti as well, right?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. But we are far away from Port-au-Prince, where we have not had any kidnappings in our area.
Wow.
None whatsoever. But what's happened in the past about a year, the Haitian government made a contract with Eric Prince of Black Water.
Yep.
So private mercenaries with the Haitian police, and they are fighting against the gangs. I would say that Port-au-Prince about 2 years ago was 90% was controlled by gangs. Now it's probably like 60%.
Still
right?
too much percentage.
It's still too much percentage.
Yeah.
But it's better. But there's been almost no kidnappings in the past year or so.
I don't mean to chuckle, but just that statement. There's been almost no kidnappings, and
almost,
that's a win.
Almost,
And here in our culture, we're like, that's not even on my radar. The possibility of something like that.
Yeah.
Now the other thing that struck me. Have you ever been to Haiti?
No.
Okay, so when we went, the earthquake was 2010, and I remember seeing that all over. I had a former student of mine who was there during the earthquake, was on a bus, and was one of the first people on scene to provide medical because she was getting her nursing degree. But one of the other things that struck me, there were 3 things that I think really hit me hard when I was in Haiti and made me grateful for what I have here, but also some awareness. So I've been to Africa and I've been to Haiti, and both have different types of poverty. And in Africa, poverty there was like if you were to drive down in Limpopo, which is where we were, We go out dirt road village. Literally, they sacrificed, or not sacrificed. They made it. They killed the goat for us and cooked it for us. And all the kids, like right out of the videos, they came out and danced. Woo! They did the whole thing, and I was like, "This is so cool." And then I'm like, "So they just do it because the white guys coming?" Like, no, this is actually part of our culture. When people come to visit, we celebrate. Doesn't matter who they are. And I was like, "That's so cool." But it was, and I'm going to say this in loosest words, are the easiest way possible. There was like no trash anywhere. It was just dirt. So it was clearly poverty. That, ironically, this was the weird disparity in my head. You got a dirt floor, but they've got a 50-inch TV and direct TV satellite, and everybody's got a cell phone. But then when I went to Haiti, they were still picking up all the rubble from the earthquake. And so literally we're driving on the road in Port-au-Prince, and there's tires all along, like industrial waste. And I was like, it struck me a very different kind of poverty, where here they've got all this technological waste because of living in an industrial region. So there's abandoned cars, there's bottles everywhere, there's kids riding. Like, I think we saw 5 people on one moped, and it was a kid driving it while his little baby sister's on the front, 3 brothers on the back, and they're weaving in and out of traffic. And I remember sitting in here, and the other thing that struck me is everybody's ripped, like they're all jacked. And someone in my group said, well, of course they are. They don't eat. They work hard. And a lot of them, like, they meet 1 meal a day. So what we think is them is jacked. For them, this is like a sign of poverty, not a sign of like, we're really working out well and I'm watching my diet. Like, no, if they get a meal and then they're working all the time, that struck me. Then the other thing that really hit me, when you actually encounter people, and I saw the same thing in Africa, and I've seen this in any time I've been to other countries, especially where there's poverty, there was a very different kind of joy. Where in America, we take joy because of what we have. And if I don't have something, I get upset about it, or we complain about it. And I saw this there, like the kids, when we went into the orphanages, man, they were so happy to see us and that we were loving on them. People going to the dental clinic, they weren't demanding. They were grateful to get their teeth worked on. But there was a different, we went to church, it felt different. And it really, like, this was 8 years ago. And it still is stuck with me because we take for granted. So I'd love to talk a little bit about kind of differences in culture and church, because we were starting to have a really good conversation. I'm like, let's hold off on that because I think this will be a good conversation. How has that been for you, and the disparity? Like, because it's very different being in the U.S. and you still have not just a foot there, like you have a life planted there to some degree with, these are your people. How is the shift? How has the difference been being in the U.S. where, and I'd really love to hear like the political world we live in right now with the things that we're fighting over, the things that are happening in the culture. Now, one, are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a legal U.S. citizen, or are you here on a visa, or what's?
I'm not allowed to say.
Hey.
Yeah, no.
If you're not allowed, we can.
No, I'm
Okay.
joking. I'm joking.
I don't know, man.
I don't know who's gonna come in. Yeah, no. I am a U.S. Citizen and have been for quite some time.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I do have dual citizenship, and yeah, There's a lot there. Let me see. Culture-wise, the difference from having 1 foot in and 1 foot out, because that's essentially what I have with being so immersed in Haiti and the affairs of Haiti, and also here as well. I would say culturally, just for me, I mostly like with my spiritual life and with me being grateful, of course, I'm more grateful when I am in Haiti, just because I'm so aware of so many things we don't have to worry about here in the States, that in Haiti, it's just a daily grind. Yeah. Right? It's just a daily grind. And I think that is probably part of that joy, is there is this joy, especially in having so little and still being so grateful for all the little things that you have, right? And I think you kind of talked about hope earlier. I didn't really answer that, and
That's okay. We can get into it. Still. Yeah.
And you talked about the earthquake. One of the elders that we have at our elderly home is this
When you say elder, do you mean a leader or elder in age?
Elder in age. She's
Okay.
about 80 years old, and he was in the earthquake in 2010, and he lost his wife and 6 daughters
Oh, wow.
in the earthquake.
Wow.
But this man, and he cannot see anymore either. And this man's faith is like amazing. Like
Wow.
how he's still praising God when you lost all of your girls and your wife during the earthquake, and he still has hope that he will see, right? And that is the type of hope that I try to cling to, that type of perseverance. And there's a thing with the Haitian resilience that is super strong and very attractive. But I'm way more grateful when I'm there. I do get irritated when things are not on time in Haiti, because things can be really late. You start.
Is that
whenever
Haitian
you want.
time?
It's Haitian time. It is, man. It's a different beast. But there's also just letting the spirit go as well, where part of us here in the States, we're also too confined by time, right? There has to be a time for this. You have to be on time for this, where there's also freedom and just.
So this is what we
right?
started getting into in the church culture stuff, is like America, we're obsessed with time. Like everything has to fit a time. Church has to be done at this time. Well, unless it's something that I really enjoy, and then we don't mind extending time. And that's true of all people. But we had started talking about that at lunch, is like the cultural differences. Okay, free flow. Like this is the time. I'd love to hear cultural differences and what are things that, from you guys and from us. Like, I think there are cultural things that sometimes help us in our understanding of church and sometimes hurt us. And we have such a limited view of the church global that we think everybody does church like us. We think everybody thinks the same way we do. We think everybody preaches the same way we do. We think everybody cares about the same things we do. And when we started talking about it at lunch, you guys kind of going off each other a little bit. Difference wise, I'd love to talk about that a little bit.
So
and how do we get that
let
challenge?
me throw something in here real quick. So just a buddy of mine who's a pastor, Christopher Mark, in the
Oh yeah, I love
in Minnesota.
We need to have homeboy on the podcast.
I know. A couple years ago, my friend went to Haiti, and they were working with local churches and prisons and schools and sharing the gospel and doing all this stuff. And he was really surprised that when he went to a local church, there was it was like a mandatory thing that you had to dress up, like clothes. They put a premium on clothes if you're a believer going to church. And then there's almost like this atmosphere of you're kind of looked down on if you don't dress up or whatever. So maybe is that I don't want to paint all of Christian culture in Haiti with the same brush, but is that true? That
is mostly very, very true. And it annoys the bejesus.
Hey,
It annoys me so much.
like
but yes,
what's
it's
the
true.
idea behind it culturally, like in church culture? Like it's there for a reason. Why?
You are coming to worship. You only do it once a week.
Yeah.
And you are going to look your best for Jesus.
Yeah.
You are going to come here looking your best. And it's also one of the only times that you also go to a function as well.
Yeah.
So there is that piece, just giving God your best. I want to give God.
Which I love
my
that
best.
idea. I think it's
Yes,
cool.
I love it as well.
Yeah.
But then when someone will not go to church because they don't have the right shoes or shirt, or
Yes.
they don't have a new suit, which happens all the time, that's where it kind of ticks me off.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Do you think part of that, I think modern church has gotten away from that unless you're in certain circles, like certain Pentecostal circles, that kind of stuff, or really traditional Southern Baptist. Do you think the tendency in that also is to appear spiritual and not actually have a relationship with Jesus? I mean, we certainly see that in America, but is there, like, from a discipleship perspective, and I'm going to speak totally out of ignorance, do they take their faith? Is faith different in the way they approach their Christianity than it is for us, where it's so commonplace for churches in America? Even the idea of going to church, you go to church, where you just said, no, it's the one thing you do every week. How is that?
Socially, spiritually,
Yeah, like, do
interacting.
they see it differently? Or do you have that same, and I think I know the answer, but do they have that same kind of like, no, they'll look good, but spiritually they're still really empty? Or you have people practicing voodoo still that are coming and doing the same thing?
Yes. Yeah.
All of
it. All of it. Yeah. There's a lot of that, of just quote unquote showing off or just on the outside. I think that is probably one of the biggest problems we also have in the Haitian church is it's a lot outwardly and not inside,
Not
right?
inward transformation.
Yeah, exactly. Just showing off, or like some of the things that are so difficult in Haiti are weddings and funerals.
Oh, say more.
They spend almost all of their money on weddings and funeral, money that you don't have, just so that people can just see. And a lot of people
for image, prestige.
And prestige
And
purpose, yes.
they had like I think it was when we were there, they actually had an area where they was doing a whole processional for a funeral.
Oh yeah, you got to
big
go
dresses, and the voodoo priest was part of that. Like it was a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was again where I was like, I heard about it. I don't even know that I saw it. I know it had just happened.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you fight that? Like, what does that look like coming into that context? How do you help? Or is that your job, or is that the job of the local pastor there? How do you disciple past that, or is it one of those things you're like, we just kind of meet them where they are, and we have to let the Spirit do? Like,
yeah,
what's
no,
that look like?
that's for sure one of the things that we fight within our leaders and our ministry, and also our church partners as well. You know, I can kind of just let them know my thoughts and my feelings pretty openly, and because I have other experiences here in the States as well, and be like, hey, listen, like I know pastors who has tattoos, right? Or who wear sandals to church. Like there are pastors here in the States that do these types of things.
I'm pointing to this guy, sandals to church, which I love. Yeah,
and we still worship the same God, right? Yeah. But really try and be like, hey, listen, you want to be open to the gospel. There are people who are not coming to your church because they don't have a tie. Like you need to change. Like this is not good, right? And people,
it's almost like a Christian caste system where
for sure
people feel alienated.
So how have you seen that? Okay, so you have a foot in both worlds. Mm-hmm. What would you call out in the American church? Because it plays differently, but it's still there.
Yeah, I like wearing sandals. So
hey,
well, like, and I mean, maybe not around clothes, but we do have like there are certain things that we do, and like this church, this is what maturity looks like, and it's a false sense of maturity, or prestige. Like I'm gonna call it out in my health and wealth gospel. Like this is my annoyance with it. I don't remember. I'm not going to say who the pastor was because I don't remember, but he said, you know, why does the pastor wear a $10,000 suit? Because the kid on the corner can either look up to the pastor or the pimp. And I'm like, really? The goal is you want him to think that being a Christian is going to make you rich? Like that's what you think Christianity is? And one that annoyed me to all lengths. I'm like, you're not even giving him a gospel. What you're telling him is follow Jesus and you'll get money. You'll have as much power and influence as the pimp does.
Yeah.
But in our culture, like that's again, I'd really love to hear it. Even we talked about at lunch, time differences. Like you made a comment about that in the service. A regular part of a Haitian service is testimony. Like I'd love to hear like some of the rhythms. Like what are the things that you see there that you're like, man, I miss that in America. We don't do it in America.
Yeah,
I wish we did that. You love there, and why do you love it?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at in the Bible times, you know, like church was a community where you gathered around with other believers, right? And it was a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed, right? Where you actually get to do life together. So that is, I believe, one positive with the Haitian churches, where it's way more relaxed even before and after, especially during the service as well. Kind of like we spoke earlier, where there's a specific section where people can just come up and just sing.
Wow.
And say, hey, I have a song because of what God has done for me. I would like to sing a song for God, or I want to testify. I want to give my testimony of what's been happening to me or what is happening to me now, where it's just free flow. And there's a sense of community and community, and it's not all constrained on time, and you can just come in and you can just be know specifically what you're praying for. So that is always powerful, that for sure. We don't really have that here in most churches here.
Can I ask, are there moments where the person maybe overshares a little TMI, and does the pastor have to deal with that? Or is it really like we're going to let it be ugly and messy, and sometimes someone's going to share something for the wrong reason? Like, how is that? Because that's part of why we don't do that, is like when things get weird, we're like, nope.
How do you handle it? How do you police it?
How do we, does that happen, or is it just
it happens. There's some snickering for sure, especially from the kids and then some from the adults. There has been sometimes some people come up to sing and man, they can't carry a tune. So you will have that elbow tap, but that's gonna happen, right? It's just also part of it as well, where there's also some of those folks where every single Sunday they're gonna come up, they have a song or they have a testimony every single Sunday, right? There's for sure part of that, but I think it outweighs it, you know. But
do you find that?
Sorry, I have a dumb question.
Please, no, ask, real dude. Quick. No dumb questions. Just dumb people.
Because hey, well, I got both in spades. Because of the poverty level in various parts of Haiti, or all of Haiti, it's pretty much the whole nation is pretty poverty stricken, right? How does that play into like communion, like just even elements, resources for bread and juice or wine or whatever? Is that a common practice, or does poverty hinder that? Is that a dumb question? I don't know.
Not at all.
Okay,
it's a common practice.
So it just happens still, and
it does. Yeah, and I think that's also something good with the Haitian culture as well, where you will prioritize those types of things. You will have enough faith that I have I will set that money aside.
So they tithe.
Be sure they do. Pastors will tell you they don't do a great job at it.
Yeah, that's anywhere. I
mean, yeah, but for sure. Mm-hmm.
When theologically, okay, and I think this is something that, as we've been talking, there's no one size fits all church, but there are certain elements that are meant to be a part of every church. And there's a universal, like communion is such an important part. I said this last Sunday, like somewhere along the way in our westernization of the church, communion became a thing that we do once in a while. And it's just a ritual. It's not actually a part, but it's supposed to be a center part of who we are as a community. It's a forming part. It's one of the things that I appreciate, Kyle, that you've reminded. Because it is like, I got saved in a Baptist tradition. I'm a theologian. I'm all over. I got saved Baptist, was a Vineyard, which is a charismatic worship leader, non-denominational, Lutheran, Reformed, non-denominational again, then Reformed, and then Lutheran again. Like I've done a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And when I started understanding that the role of communion was not symbolic, but there's actually something that happens in the formation when we make it part of us. It's one of the things that I appreciate about my Catholic brothers and sisters. We've made the word central, and I actually don't have a problem with that, because I do believe the preaching of the word is important. But there are some churches that's the only important thing. And so like music is there as an appetizer to get you ready for the main course that is the teaching. And then the communion is the thing that we have to do, because as Christians we're supposed to check mark and say we did a box. When as a culture is the reason why you do it, because like there's a theological value for these things. Is it just a cultural thing? We're like, no, like we're together because this is, as you said, it's like the one time we all get together. There's a more of a communal, like I'm curious, is it a theological decision that you see that's playing out? Like they're like, no, we're doing this intentionally from a biblical, and not that it's bad, or is it like, no, culturally, this is just so much ingrained into Haitian culture, community, potlucks, doing meals together because there is poverty. Like when you're poor, there's a reason why potlucks are so big in the ghetto. Because everybody's gathering, like it's communal living at its best. It was he's bringing the hot dogs, he's bringing the baked beans.
Yeah.
Like, so is it a theological conviction, or is it a a cultural necessity? Is it a mixture of both? Like, I'm curious on
Yeah,
that.
from my experiences, it's more of a theological base.
Okay.
You know, I remember, when I lived there, a lot of times I would just listen to church online.
Okay.
And maybe once or twice a month, I would go to our local church. And some of our leaders said, hey, like, Paul, like, I get it that you feel like you and your family have to listen to some services from a English-speaking pastor, especially for your kids. But are you getting monthly communion? Is that not something that you should think about? And, that was good for me to hear. So from my experiences, it's a lot of theological that you are to do this.
So it's not just a cultural necessity.
It is not just a cultural necessity.
There is a no, we're doing this for a
Yeah,
reason.
for sure. Yeah, from my experiences.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. But then different backgrounds as well have different rules about it in Haiti as well. Who can take it, and how often do you do it?
Okay.
Do you have to be a member of the church or not? Do you need to be baptized or not? Can kids take it? Can adults take it? So all of that varies as well. Kind of like I think it varies
Does
here in the
here,
States too. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
You guys equip in evangelism, and you guys go out and do evangelism at schools, at your care center, your different places like that, the orphanage that's kind of phasing out. What's that approach? Like, how do you guys do it? I mean, especially with children and youth, or like what's kind of the main, number one, who's the main target with evangelism, and what's your approach? How do you guys do it?
Yeah, so we have an evangelism team. During the summer, they go to market areas and preach the word of God, and they visit homes specifically.
Cool.
So mostly we try to reach unreached areas, and what we do is we try to have continual Bible study.
Sweet.
In someone's home. What we found that a lot of times, you just go around and you just say, yep, Jesus is coming back, Jesus is coming back, Jesus is coming back, all around the market areas, and then that's it, right? Yeah. There's no follow-up.
Yeah.
Or someone comes to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, and there's no follow-up, right? So we are really big in actually building a relationship, having Bible study in someone's home, and then that person becomes the leader, and then we move somewhere else.
That's awesome.
So for
Do you get them plugged into a local church then?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. So for our schools, all of the 9 schools that we operate, those are Christian schools, right?
Okay.
But and most of the school directors are pastors as well. But what we have found is that a lot of the students really don't have the meat, right? They don't really grow in their faith or really have someone pouring into them. So that is one of the things that we are really trying to solve right now, is having like an after school program.
Yeah.
Even though, yes, during the school day, they do hear the word of God being preached, but having something bigger after school, so that those kids can be intentional, that it's not just a check in the box, but actually, actually growing in your faith.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then one last question for me, and then I'll shut up and let you guys talk. I'm just curious about denominations and like Christian representation in there. Because we're nuts. I'm nuts about. I love the church, like big body, and I just want to know like what are the different denominations and forms
body,
down
big
there.
heart.
Yeah.
No, all over. Baptist, Episcopal, Lutheran, Church of God. Yeah.
Church of God in Christ, like Kojic.
I don't
Probably
know
Church of God.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a bunch of it all around, all over.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know the percentages, but it used to
But
be
that's
mainly
diverse.
Catholic.
That's
Yeah. And of course, Catholic is huge. Catholic is probably still the highest percentage.
predominant.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Protestant is getting there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is true to what you were saying earlier, that mixture of voodoo and Christianity, a lot of it happens within the Catholic Church in Haiti, or people who were raised Catholic but not are really active in the church. They are not they are not active in the church, but they were raised Catholic. They maybe go to church once or twice every 10 years, and they say that they're Catholic, but they still practice voodoo.
Yeah.
So a lot of that are really nominal Catholics that you could even
let
not
me
call Catholics.
like one of the things that we'll see in America, and let's make it clear, we have our own form of voodoo. It's New Age, where you got Christians. Oh, I got my crystal here for good luck, dude. It's the same kind of twisted
stuff.
version of it. Oh, I read my horoscope. I'm going to my medium. I talked to somebody recently who was like, "Is it wrong to go to a medium?" Yes, yes, it is. Well, why? Because they're helping me connect with Jesus. No, they're not. I no, they're not. Like even if it is, it's a twisted form of Christianity. Do you what would you say if you were to give a warning or an encouragement or a challenge to the church in America? I'd love to hear your thoughts because one, you're part of this country, man.
Yeah.
You are in. What church do you go to in South Dakota?
King of Glory Church.
King of Glory Church.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd love to hear, man. Like, what are the observations you're like, dude? If I could give a challenge to the American church, which you're part of that.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and why.
Yeah. When we moved back in 2014, my best friend Tim Mulder, great guy. He's an American guy and bank background, and he moved to Haiti at the same time as we did. And we were talking about kind of like how Haiti can be a very dark place. And I was like, yeah, Tim, for sure. That is very true. But growing up in the States and having my FSU days, the darkest places that I have been to has been in the States.
Yeah.
And that is me as a non-believer. You know, I have been to a strip club once. Like I visited a strip club and I would be out drinking 2-3 o'clock in the morning and downtown Palm Beach, you know, those are the darkest places that I have seen. Yeah. Right. So I think that we have to be reminded of those things as well that are just normal, right? It is normal to have strip clubs or normal to go out partying at, or I mean, to some degree, to some people, it's normal when you do that, right?
That's not thunder and lightning.
No, it's not. It's an airplane.
No, I think someone's moving like a heavy barrel or something.
Lord?
Upstairs.
Really?
Lord, is that you? We hear trumpets.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So, like, those are the vices that has become normal here in the States.
Yeah.
That we've
made peace with it as a country. Yeah.
But man,
it's normal.
But like when you think of those, like, dude, like that is crazy. And you will almost not see any strip clubs in Haiti, right? Nothing.
That's so interesting.
Is
prostitution a problem in Haiti?
It has become a problem in Port-au-Prince and small areas. Yeah.
So I remember,
but historically not widespread.
No.
Like
no, not at all. So like those are the types of things where. Yeah, like they're normal now, or they're quote unquote normal. They're part of the culture. They're legal. They are legal, but I mean, we can go into all of those pornography and all of those sites now that you can see people and pay money for, right? Like all of those things are just pure evil.
Yeah,
they are dark in nature, but we don't. Like sometimes we see other things in other countries as being pure evil and dark, and now
and forgetting how pure evil and dark, and coming from somewhere else, going, I can't believe you in America think this is okay.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Well, like the fact that you have Christians who think OnlyFans is an acceptable thing. Like, what's the big deal? It's just nudity. Someone made a comment to me that my kids' generation, nudity has become so normalized to them because like friends will send pictures, naked pics to each other. It's just part of what you do, and I'm like, what? And it's on their phones, like police. I'm like, that's just insane. And they're like, well, you're just really being prudish around nudity. I mean, yeah, maybe we could have that theological conversation around shame around the human body. But no, there's a perversion that we've made acceptable now, part of our culture, that in another culture, they might come and go, I can't believe you think this is okay.
Sure. So like in Haiti, like even now when there are a lot of places where people, young men and young women are out showering, and sometimes you might see something because they are in the river. That is where they shower, right?
That's their bathing place.
That is their bathing place.
They're not being indiscreet. That's their only place to bathe.
Exactly. And I mean, you have women breastfeeding all over, right? Yep. And their breasts are out. But that is very, very different.
That's different.
That is so different from that. And then, paying.
So sexualized culture versus human body. Like, I remember when my wife started breastfeeding, and like, it was just normal because it's my wife.
Yeah.
But when I see somebody else's wife, a part of me goes, and in other cultures, other cultures, it's like, no, that's what they're there for. Like, that's their original purpose was to
Right.
produce milk.
Yeah.
And so, thank you, man. Thank you for making the, like, the home, you drove 3 hours, 3+ hours
And
to be
15
here,
minutes.
3 hours and 15 minutes to be here.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
about the 15
Don't
minutes.
forget about that 15 minutes, man. I just so appreciate you coming down, and I want to have you back if you'd be interested. From a theological perspective, how has being in the American church maybe helped? Are there things that have shaped your theology in a healthy way? And are there things that you've had to resist as part of American culture and how we view the Bible, church, the body of Christ? I'd love to hear, like, are there things that you're like, man, I have to resist this because I see there's some dangers. And I know there are things in my life where I'm like, man, this is an area where I feel like American church has become an American church, not a Christian church. Like we've stopped reflecting Jesus. Are there things that when you look at, you're like, man, I have to resist this because every church seems to want to do this. I think time is one of those. Like, we have to be respectful of time. I get that. And we need to be mindful, but there is an idolatry around time in our culture. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't respect time, but entertainment, that's another thing that I think I have to constantly push against, is our job to entertain people. And yet Jesus was an entertaining dude. Like, homeboy knew how to tell a story. So there's entertainment for the purpose of a greater truth. And then there's entertainment because, well, we got to get him in the doors. And so I'd love to actually kind of close with that. And I'd love to get your guys' thought on that. Where do you find yourself having to resist some of American culture and Christianity from what you've seen there, or just in your own personal conviction?
I think what I've seen in the Haitian church is that most people know everyone's business, because of how they live their lives, had the close proximity. People know their business, and both positive and negative. And I think that's probably something where most American churches, people can be suffering and no one knows about it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Or they could have things going on, no one knows about it, just because we are so secluded. We see each other once a week, and most of the communities in Haiti, they see each other, on a daily basis, So when other people are at the market, they know how they act and behave in the market. When they're taking transportation to go to the tap, or how they are as neighbors. Tap is our little taxi that we take. And they call tap because you got to, when you arrive. Tap.
So I was thinking, because in Thailand it's the tuk-tuk.
Yeah,
that's
kind of like the same idea. Yeah, so like we have we have a more intimate relationship with one another because we know all of the good and bad that is going on, where you have to be so intentional here in the States to know what's going on with other people, and we don't like to say how we're struggling, So that's probably something where community groups are just huge, right? Like, you got to have community groups.
Being in small group community,
group is so big, but it takes time. It takes time out of your schedule. It's like we give God maybe an hour a week. Like, that's insane. And I think was it Tom Henderson during the resident that said, give God at least 1% of your day. I think
he said it was like 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes a day. 15 minutes.
Isn't that crazy?
Like that we have to tell people that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like 15 minutes, that's it, right? And
you've already done more. Yeah.
And like most of us don't do that. So,
well, to what you're saying, I mean, you said we're more secluded or individualized or something, and it's hard to untangle giving to God and giving to others in Scripture. Like 1 John says, he who does not love his neighbor cannot claim to know God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's giving to God is somehow this thing that I have to open myself to you and you to me.
Direct link. Yeah.
Yeah. That just made me think of that when you connecting those dots with what you were saying about how American culture is different than Haitian culture, and like we think of giving to God as like quiet time or something like that, but really,
I gave this is my 15 minutes a day.
but really, giving to God is how much am I loving my neighbor?
Yeah.
Maybe more than Bible study. Like,
So can you said something to me, and this is a phrase that I learned years ago, and I've kind of adopted it. And Kyle, you challenged me, and I want to thank you on it. And then you sent a podcast that also reaffirmed it. And I'm repenting of this. I'm repenting it as a false teaching.
I don't know what you're saying.
No. Once I say it, I think you'll know. For years, I was taught you have to love your neighbor. It doesn't mean you have to like them.
Oh, yeah, that's a very American thing.
And Kyle challenged me on this. He's like, I don't know that I agree with that, bro. And I was like, no, like I don't have to like everybody to love them. And you sent a podcast out from AJ Swoboda and another cat,
Nijay Gupta,
who I would, man, if we get them on the podcast, that'd be amazing. I got really convicted because even the idea that I think I can love my neighbor but not like my neighbor is a really false sense of love.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be friends with everybody. I can't be friends with everybody. And I think that's what we usually mean is I don't have to like everybody. But, and there is an element within scripture where we see like tolerate, like bear with one another. The word bear there, the idea is like, no, sometimes we got to tolerate things. We got to tolerate one another. There's differences. There's disunity. We see this all throughout the letters where there's disagreements. We tolerate. But why do we tolerate? Not because I have to love you but not like you, but because the goal is, no, I want to love you and I want the best for you. And therefore I'm going to like you. And I think something you said just really struck me. And I'm going to say this, like, I'm not going to say this anymore. I'm not going to say it when I preach, because while I may not always get along with everybody, the idea that I can love somebody and then still hold this tension of, yeah, but I don't really like you.